Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. How are you? I'm good, just hanging on to my sanity by a thread. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about fragrances that I love. Maybe some of them more than others, but still, you know, it's like your children. No, that's terrible. I love all of you, just you the least. Yeah, I love all of these, just maybe some more than others. But at the same time, part of me also hates that I love these fragrances. I hate to love them. And it is a mix. It's a motley crew of fragrances here. So let's jump into it. Let's check these out. We're going to kick things off with the cheapest fragrance of the list. This thing costs next to nothing. Under $20, you can pick this up. And it makes sense when you see it, when you look at it, when you hold it. It doesn't feel like a priceless work of art. It is Remy Latour Cigar. Now, this one, it may remind you of like the Cuba fragrances, the ones that look like cigars. But this one, they've stepped it up a bit. You know, the Cuba fragrances is one measly cigar. With this one, it's 5 cigars. It does say cigar on the bottle, so that's cool. And then you get this little gold band that goes around it. On my bottle, the atomizer is built in here. There's no cap. You just press on this cigar and it sprays it out. I'll show it to you guys. It's not a great atomizer, but could be worse. So this thing, it's got plum as pineapple. It's got bay leaf, of course, tobacco. I mean, you can't call a fragrance cigar and make it look like a cigar and not have tobacco as one of the notes. And like I said, it's really cheap, really cheap. But in the air, it actually smells good. It reminds me vaguely of something like Burberry London. It's kind of in that style. And for that matter, it also smells like Cuba Gold, which I also have. So I suppose I could have just as easily put that one in instead of this one. But this is, believe it or not, a really nice smelling sweet tobacco fragrance with a little bit of a kind of herbal floral nuance to it. And it smells really nice in the air. So if nothing else, it actually makes a great room spray. You know, you spray this around the room a little bit, let it waft, and then come back in and not bad. So while I really like it because it's an inexpensive, very inexpensive tobacco fragrance that smells nice in the air, up close, not as nice, but in the air, pretty nice. I don't like it because it's so friggin' cheap and cheesy. Actually, I got that from Amazon. Did a video a while back that was smelling some of the cheapest fragrances on Amazon. That was one of the ones I picked up, and it's actually worth it. It's the only fragrance that I really tried that day where I said to myself afterward, that one I think I wouldn't mind keeping. Next up, what are we gonna go with? Bleecker Street, bottle number 9. Yeah, Bleecker Street is just, it's one of those things I'm never gonna shake. I'm gonna like this fragrance until the end of time. Does it smell like Purple Label from Ralph Lauren? Yeah, it smells pretty similar to Purple Label. Is bottle number 9 kind of a company that's hard to support, we'll say? Yeah, they are. Is it potentially overpriced? Yeah, it is. So for all those reasons, you think I would hate it, but the fragrance itself, man, I love it. I love the way this stuff smells. It's one of my favorite springtime fragrances. It's got this green grassiness to it, like fresh grass. I know that doesn't sound like it would smell great, but it does. There's also blueberry in here. There's suede as the fragrance dries down. Bleecker Street is one of those fragrances that, you know, it's guided me along in my fragrance journey, we'll say. There have been many times, you know, when it starts to heat up outside, things start to bloom. Automatically, I think Bleecker Street, I think Green Irish Tweed. I just gravitate toward those every year. And I've had some fantastic memories wearing that fragrance, so I love it. But I should hate it. But I don't. So this next fragrance, it's a weird one. I love the way it smells. Big time compliment puller. So many people have worn this as a signature scent over the years, but ingrained into my mind is this idea of the fragrance as, forgive me, a douche magnet. I mean, on the bottle itself is a guy pulling down his pants to show you his cod root, which I don't know about you, but I'm like, nah, it's cool, man. You don't have to keep pulling it down. No, it's okay. Just stop. It's Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce. Yay! The fragrance of malls all over the US. So this thing was, like I said, everywhere. If you went into a mall that had an Abercrombie & Fitch, heck, if you went into a mall that didn't have an Abercrombie & Fitch, you smelled that thing hard. And when I worked at the mall, when I was younger, I worked at an arcade as an assistant manager. Cushy job. But that fragrance, man, you could not escape it. And at the time, I didn't really have enough money that I could really buy anything at Abercrombie & Fitch. So everybody that was walking around with like popped collars smelling like they sprayed 50 sprays of that on before they went to the mall, it didn't leave the greatest impression, I guess. Yeah. Now as time goes on and, you know, I can help separate a little bit the feelings of that time with the fragrance itself, I've come to really appreciate it and love it in its own kind of way. You know, it's a very important fragrance and it's been knocked off a million times. Probably most well-known of the knockoffs is Mont Blanc Legend, but that's not the only one. So while I really like Fierce and I don't mind smelling it now at all, there's still part of me that, you know, remembers the past and I'm like, oh man. All right, this upcoming fragrance, crazy expensive, $555 for a full presentation bottle of this thing. That is not cheap. And I think the name is not great. I don't really love it, but the fragrance itself, I love to smell. Even on a tester strip, it doesn't matter. Any way that I can get my nose on it, I love it. It's Sweetie Oud from Raja Parfum. This is part of the Tutti Frutti collection of oud fragrances from the house, which is also a name that I'm not enamored with. So the other names, or the other fragrances in that line are Candy Oud and Fruity Oud. And then this one's Sweetie. Now it has rose, oud, cardamom, a whole bunch of other base notes, and it smells to me fantastic. It's completely unisex. You would think looking at the bottle, the name of the collection, that it would be ultra feminine. You know, Sweetie Oud in the Tutti Frutti collection. Yeah, actually guys can wear that really easily. It's woody, it's spicy, it's a little bit resinous. The rose is not overwhelming, so while it's there, it doesn't overpower everything else with kind of a powdery nature, and it smells great. It even has this sort of balsamic edge as the fragrance dries down, which for some people would make it lean ever so slightly masculine, believe it or not. The price on this one though, $555 for 50 mils. Ugh, that's rough. Over $10 per milliliter. So every time I spray it, it's like, there's 50 cents. There's $1. Now that one you can pick up at twistedlily.com. If you use the code GENTS10, you'll save 10% off, which is actually a decent amount off, but it's still gonna be mad expensive. And that code is good for everything on Twisted Lily. So anytime you shop there, you use that code. It'll help you with this one, but you're still gonna take heavy damage. Yeah, it's still a critical hit to the wallet. All right, I've got 2 left to go. I kind of snuck a bonus one in here, but we're gonna do these pretty quickly. So the first one, Philip Plein No Limits, self-explanatory. This one has the cringiest and yet most awesome advertising of all time for fragrances. Actually, I kind of prefer it. I mean, usually when you see a fragrance commercial, whether it's for women or for men, it's pretty par for the course. You know, it's that kind of artsy kind of deal with a celebrity, and I don't like them. I know it's really in depth, but you know what I'm talking about. You've seen them, especially around the holidays. They start running Dior and Chanel and Armani commercials like nonstop. But with Philip Plein, he says F all that, and he has basically a no-name rapper rapping about himself, Philip Plein, and he has money guns and girls in bikinis and Lamborghinis and fire and monkeys and helicopters. It's different, but I'm not gonna lie, seeing that commercial and that terrible rap song, it doesn't really make you feel very cool having the fragrance. You actually feel like a douche, a huge one, almost to the point where you're like, well, what's that fragrance? Nothing. Don't look it up. This is nothing. This is fake. What is this? I got this at TJ Maxx. It's like a fake credit card statue thing. Keep it on my bed. Don't look up and feel applying the limits. I swear I'm not a dude. And your friend looks it up, your mom, and they just watch the commercial and look at you. I mean, that's really it, though. That's really the only reason that I hate to love it is the whole aesthetic. It's cringe taken to the highest level, like the most concentrated level possible. But that smells freaking great. I really like it. Leather and dark chocolate and a number of other notes, some spiciness in there as well. It has some resemblance to Black Tie by Fragrance One, some resemblance to Gucci Guilty Absolute, but it's really good. And it's a big time compliment puller too, believe it or not. Last up, Lom Ross. This one reminds me a little bit of K by Dolce & Gabbana, both the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum. Some people won't get that similarity, but I do. Just kind of the way the juniper comes out in this one and melts together with some of the other fresher notes. It gives me the like remembrance of Dolce & Gabbana's K. So it's one of those things where if you spray them on side by side, you'd probably be like, nah, they're pretty different. But when you spray on only one of them, and the other one is nowhere near, then you go, oh yeah, it does remind me a little bit of that. So with this one being just a small blue fragrance release that didn't really get much hype, that reminds me of a fragrance that I'm not really in love with, you would think I wouldn't like it, but I do. Works on my skin really well, super versatile like you'd expect, and just a really pleasant, easy to wear spring and summer scent. So part of me hates that I do like it because with it reminding me of K, which I've said I don't like, but I like this one. Does that mean that deep inside I kind of do like K? What does it mean? All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fragrances I hate to love. Let me know in the comments some of the fragrances that you love, but maybe you would actually keep it on the DL because you don't want people to judge you. Thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there. See you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.